You want to fight?
we're fighting.
You want to fight? Ooh, you want to fight?
Oh, yeah.
You want to fight?
Ooh, yeah. You want fighting now?
We'll get fighting.
We're gonna fight.
We get this
So
fight.
fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna fight. Are you gonna kill me in my sleep? Hello and welcome back everybody to the video series dedicated show on MTV that loves to pad its jockstrap. That's right, I'm talking about The Challenge Season 34 War of the Worlds 2 Episode 9. And in this episode, CT moonlights as a couples therapist, power couples wrestle each other, not for power, just each other, and somebody gets dehydrated. Get it? Dehydrated? Dehydrated? It's a funny joke. I'm so glad she's okay though. Let's start off where last episode left off, and that was everybody coming back to the house after the double elimination where Kyle and Esther were kicked off of this season by the hands of Georgia and Theo. And that's when the UK group all get together and try to have a powwow, try to boost team morale and teamwork, and it kind of just falls flat. Speaking of teamwork, let's go into this week's daily challenge called Under Siege. And this daily challenge is being held inside this cargo container that's 60 feet long, and there's two sets of puzzles in this shipping container, and the teams will be trying to finish a puzzle first. And whoever finishes the puzzle first wins and gets to make up the Tribunal. They'll be played in two heats, one guy's heat and one girl's heat. The guys go first, and they are flopping around each other as they're trying to figure out this really intense, really difficult puzzle. And to make matters worse, one side is going up, then kind of going down, and kind of doing this whole flip flamable things, and they're falling over each other. It's like a Charlie Chaplin movie as everybody's flinging around, and they time out. So now it's all on the girls, and they time out too. So it's really, really difficult. So then we go into a sudden death, and in sudden death, it's exactly the same, except most of the puzzle is put together for you. So now there's only 3 puzzle pieces left. They have to do it for the outside, and whoever can finish this wins the whole daily challenge. And some people on Twitter were saying that this game was a bit rigged for the US team, as the first side that's picked up is the UK side, so they fall to the US side, giving the US a bit more time to look at the puzzle, look at their puzzle, and figure out how to do it. Once the sides were starting to balance out, that's when the UK side was trying to run over to the other side, trying to put the pieces on there, but it was just too late because the US puts their side on, wins another daily challenge, makes up the Tribunal, and gets to vote in anybody that they feel is fit, and the UK team will be going back yet again to the nomination floor. So with the US win, they decide to put Josh as speaker, and he votes in Ninja and Leroy to be with him in the Tribunal. And let me tell you right now, this was very peaceful on the UK side, because once they go to the nominations, everybody was pretty docile, everybody was pretty much on the same page as they voted in Idris to go into the proving grounds, and even Idris was like, okay, cool. And there was no arguing whatsoever. All the arguing came from the US side, because the Tribunal is already split. Ninja wants to put in Theo, Josh wants to put in Joss, and Leroy's in the middle going like, why can't we all just get along? A lot of people are saying that in the house right now, that everybody's playing Paulie and Cara's game, and possibly they're not lying. Paulie and Cara aren't pulling the strings completely, but they're also benefiting from every single decision that's been happening from almost the very beginning to now. So with that being said, they go to the elimination, they're on the proving ground floor, and the Tribunal have to officially vote in somebody. The first vote, Ninja says, I want to put in Theo. Josh says Joss. And now it comes down to Leroy. Leroy is like, I'm going to make somebody mad, so why not just make majority of my team happy, and I'm going to put in Theo. And I would rather take out Theo anyways. Josh gets super upset. He starts yelling at Paulie. Paulie's yelling at him. Just before this elimination though, back at the house, Jordan and Zach were talking about what if Jordan was voted in to go up against Idris, and then he turncoats, and maybe he can bring some glory over to the UK team. On the US team, Jordan is just viewed as merely a utility player. He's strong, he can pick up heavy things, he's a good competitor. Why not just keep him on the team to help us win, and if we don't, we can just throw him into the elimination. What's the problem with that? Well, Jordan feels that there's a major problem because he wants to be the leader. He wants to be in control. And right now, he doesn't feel like he can be in control on the US team. So now he wants to go to the down and out UK team, possibly go over there. And if they start to win, guess what? Jordan gets all the glory. But back to the elimination. So Theo, just to recap, gets put into the elimination against Idris 2-1. and they're going to be facing off in the elimination in this episode called Break Free. And in this elimination, both competitors will be starting from opposite sides. They have to grab onto this rope, swing into the wall like they're George of the Jungle, swinging into a tree, and they have to break through this wall. Once you break through, on the other side there's a puzzle that you have to figure out, and the first person to finish their puzzle wins, gets to stay in this game, gets to still fight for $1 million while the other person is on a jet home. So with that being said, Theo and Idris go at it. They start going, and it's pretty easy to tell that Theo is going to win this game. I mean, it's tough not to. Theo just stays calm, cool, and collected. He breaks through the wall first. He gets to his puzzle first, and Idris finally gets over the wall, but he looks like a deer in the headlights. Throughout this whole competition, throughout this whole elimination, he looks like a deer in the headlights. He looks like he's scrambling. He doesn't know when to take off the goggles. He finally takes them off, and everybody on the US team is trying to help him, trying to point out the blocks that he should use, and he is like freaking out. They're saying the L block. He's pointing at a triangle, does the puzzle, easily stacks it up, and then just sits on it. It was like, I guess I win, and TJ blows the horn, signifying that Theo wins easily. Idris is eliminated, and you're thinking, wow, that was a lackluster elimination to end this episode off. Oh, but we're not done. Oh, as you look at your DVR and you see that there is 15 to 20 minutes still left in this episode, and you're going, what else could there possibly be? Everybody gets back to the house after the elimination, and that's when everybody's getting on their workout gear, maybe going into the gym, get a possible workout after this elimination. And they're talking about doing some running, some cardiovascular skills, and that's when Jordan does a little poking and prodding to Cara, and Cara kind of gets in Jordan's face, and that's when everybody decides to crowd around and be like, ooh, what could happen? What could happen? Jordan, of course, brings up Turbo's name while Turbo is in the gym running, and then he leaves the room, and that's when Ashley runs out, gets Turbo, and Turbo comes into the room asking where Jordan is. Finally, they decide to have a conversation with everybody, including the US, the UK, everybody just in the house comes together to watch Turbo and Jordan go at it again, yelling. Turbo wants to go into the elimination. He wants a guarantee that Jordan will go into the next elimination with him to see who is the better man. And Jordan is just like, I'm not going to do it. CT has been spilling facts all over the season, and the one fact that he said this episode that is clear as day is that Jordan plays kind of a snide game, where he'll say that he'll fight somebody, and once that person gets in his face, he says he doesn't want to fight anymore. He doesn't know what they're saying. Well, this conversation is like a roller coaster, because this argument gets brought up to the top into a whole new level, gets brought down a little bit, and then gets ramped up again right at the end. Some people are blaming Jordan for what he said. Other people are blaming Cara and Ashley for kind of manipulating the situation and kind of manipulating Turbo in a sense, because knowing that both these guys had beef with each other so early on in the season, and then if anything was brought up again, that Turbo is gonna just go off and is going to want to rip Jordan's head off, which, trust me, nothing would make me happier in life right now than to see Turbo rip Jordan's head off. But he would get DQ'd. And this gets ramped up as Jordan starts copying or mocking Turbo's walk, and Turbo has to have like 3 or 4 different producers, different security guards to hold him back as he wants to just get into Jordan's face and rip his insides out. And that's where this episode ends. What do you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comments section below. What do you think about this daily challenge? What do you think about this elimination? Who were you rooting for, Idris or Theo? And who were you rooting for at the end of this episode, Jordan or Turbo? Let me know that in the comment section below. Who do you think was right? Who do you think was wrong? And do you think Cara and Ashley are to blame for kind of manipulating this situation? What do you think? Let me know everything you have to say about a player, about a situation, about this episode, about previous episodes, about previous seasons. Let me know everything and anything you have to say down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say, but thank you so much for watching. I'll be back really soon with more challenge videos. I have brief history of the challenge coming out on Saturday. You got Going in Blind Tuesday night, and join me next week, Thursday, for another challenge review and recap of the challenge Season 34 War of the Worlds 2. But until then, peace.